Hi guys, welcome back. We are doing pork shoulder today. Obviously new grill, it's nice to test out low and slow features on it, and obviously this has a SloRoller in it as well, the Classic III. So we are going to do good traditional boneless pork shoulder. I'll stick a glove on here because luckily there's very little prep to do. This is a middleweight pork shoulder from Hillstown Farm Shop. It's been ages since I've been out there, so it's good to get back out. There's very little needs done to it. It's actually pretty nicely trimmed up here already. A few little bits of fat and stuff on it, but I'm just going to leave them there. There's no need to take them off. So all we need to do is get it covered with a little bit of a binder and then season it up. This is about 2.5 kilos, just under it actually. So we will stick it on. I've no idea how long it's going to take. It's my first sort of real low and slow cook with the SloRoller to see how it does. So we're experimenting, and at the end of it we get pulled pork. Happy days. So for binder, we're going with hot sauce. Usually I use mustard, but you can use hot sauce or mustard or oil or no binder at all. Choose whatever you want, but we're going to try it out with hot sauce today. Put a little drizzle over. Just enough to coat it nicely. This is the Jaipur collab with the Smokey Carter. It's a really nice sauce, so I'm kind of hoping the flavours will get in there a little bit. Flip it over, a little touch on the other side. That should be enough. Okay then, 2 rubs on this one. First one is the Smoky Chipotle barbecue rub. This is like a finer dust, so we're going to put it on first and then build up with a steak rub afterwards. Get in all the little crevices you can, and the little flaps that'll lift up. Don't miss them out. Sides done. Right, then the second one, which is the Gaucho steak. Again, salty, slightly coarser rub, give us a bit more texture on the bark, hopefully. Slightly larger salt crystals in it as well. Perfect. Right, and that's it, ready to go on. So the barbecue already fired up, sitting steady at around 120 or so. In 120 to 140, anywhere in that range, I'm happy. So all that's left to do is take this over, set it on. We're going to use thermopane smoke today to monitor the cook. It's September, the sun's splitting the trees. I don't know why I'll be coming back and checking every 2 minutes, so I'll just set the little unit up in the house. Once things get close to being checking time, we can go and have a look at it again. So let's go over to barbecue, get it on. Let's talk for a second about the barbecue setup. So the Classic III obviously has the SloRoller in it. So we have the charcoal basket filled with charcoal, 1 firelighter in there just to start the fire close to the front of the bowl. Air obviously comes in the front, and the fire tends to burn from the front to the back. So that's where we're going to start it off. We've put in the SloRoller attachment, but before we kind of sealed all that up, we have put in a couple of chunks of wood. So I have 1 chunk of hickory in there and 1 chunk of whiskey barrel oak. That's from the guys at Ballygowan Barrels who sent the chunks out to me a little while ago. So I'll try them out on this. Kind of medium-sized chunk of each. I like smoke, but I don't like really, really strong smoke. So those are put in close to that fire. So as the fire starts to slightly grow, it'll take up those chunks in and start to smoke for the first few hours of the cook. You can kind of see here, and I'll overlay footage of it, there is the lightest of smokes coming out of this. That's what you want. You don't want billowing white smoke. You don't want big plumes of blue smoke. Something's going wrong at that stage. You want it nice and light that you can barely see it. You can smell it in the air, but it's not overpowering. Again, you don't want your food to taste like it's come from a house fire. So we've sealed up the SloRoller, let everything come up to temperature. We're going to put a drip tray in on top of that SloRoller just to catch any drippings. I don't want everything burning down onto that and then getting like an acrid smoke. So we'll put a drip tray in there with a little bit of water. But we're sitting pretty steady at about 130 here. I have done pork shoulders hotter than that, but I'm happy to let it go a little bit lower today. So I'd imagine once we stick this on, it's going to drop anyway. So I'm pretty happy with how it's set up. We are heat soaked. The dome is warm all over. I can kind of touch it, but I can't hold my hand on there for too long or it will burn. That means we're now radiating heat down onto the pork shoulder as well. So all in all, this is kind of the, not ideal, but it's a good setup for smoking. There's a few different ways you can do it. That's why I'm saying there's no ideal way. But it's time to get it on and get it cooking. Get the glove on. I want it as fast as possible doing this. We've set up the perfect balance in there. We don't want to screw it up by leaving the lid up for too long. So if we open up, we'll put the pork shoulder under this half first. Drip tray down in. water into the drip tray. Stick the other half of the cooking grate in. Bring our pork back over to the middle. Once we're happy that's sitting in the middle, then we can get our probes in. So first, our meat one, just go into the center of the meat. Then our pit probe. And we'll close it up. So already, just from doing that there, you can kind of see our smoke's ramped up a little bit. The minute we opened that, I saw the wood chunks burst into flames. So I'm sure temperatures will slightly fluctuate. We've recovered to, well, we're not too bad, we've recovered to about 120. So there is a slight drop there. But I'm sure things will regulate again if we just leave our vents alone and don't touch it. So we'll let the smoke monitor it, the thermopen smoke that is, not this smoke. I don't know if I'm going to wrap it yet. I don't know if I'm going to spritz it yet. I'm just going to play it by ear. I think going into this with a plan of a certain time you're going to wrap it at and a certain temperature you're going to wrap it at is maybe a little bit silly, because you don't know how the cook's going to go or what the bark's going to form like or what your colour's going to be like or whether it's drying out, or there's so many things if it's stalling at a certain point. So I'm just going to play it by ear, and I'll bring you guys along with me. Any changes I make to the barbecue, if I do decide to spritz it, if I do decide to wrap it, we'll go through it then. But for now, I'm happy just to leave that be for a few hours and go away and get on with my day. Now later on, before we eat, I do want to make a bit of a slaw to go into this. We're going to do like pulled pork bodies. So closer to the time, we will get that made. But for now, I have things to do. I'll check back in with you guys shortly. Right, we're 3 hours in-ish, just over. Things are holding steady. We are still sitting around 130 degrees, and the internal temp of the pork butt's sitting about 75, so it's kind of stalled. It's maybe just starting to come out the other side of it. It kind of stalled coming up to 70-ish. It took a little while for that kind of to creep up, but temps are holding steady on the KJ, so we're just going to let it do its thing. I'm not even going to open the lid to show you guys, but while we have a bit of time in our hands, we need to make this look like slaw. It's a pretty simple recipe. Let me see. So we'll start with the veggies. We have a small red cabbage. If you have a small one, swap that out for half of a large one. Or if you want to go white cabbage, crack on, same thing. 4 average sized carrots, red onion. We need zest and juice of a lemon, but we'll go over that after. Then we have a couple of different mustards here. If you prefer them, you can pick either one, but I go in with a little bit of both, so Wholegrain and Dijon. And this is a mayo based one, so we have about 100 grams of mayo. I will adjust it once you get your veggies done and get it all mixed together. You kind of know yourself the consistency you want your slaw to be. So if I think it's not creamy enough, I'll add a little bit more. But 100 grams is our starting point. And seasonings wise, you can go with salt and pepper if you just want it plain, but it's a nice opportunity to try add a little bit more flavour in there. So I'm going to go with the Texas Ranch from the Smokey Carter. Nice strong dill flavours off it, so it's kind of nice and herby as well. And we are going to put a little bit of chopped parsley into this, but having that dill flavour in there too might be quite nice. So it's a lovely rub. I'll leave links below to it if you want to try it out, but I think it could be quite nice in this. So we just got on with a bit of knife work. So we'll do cabbage first. We're going to take the root off. We'll go down the middle. And you want to get rid of this bit here because that ain't good to snag on. Probably going to dye my hands. I might actually start a glove on for this. I do not need to be going into work tomorrow with purple hands. So you can grate it if you want. I'm going to go with a knife. Okay, so all of that can go into our bowl. Okay, next up our onion. We want these nice and fine as well. That can go in too. Okay, and our carrots. I've given them a quick rinse down just to take any, there's nothing on them, they're washed carrots anyway, but I re-washed them. I have this weapon, it kind of cuts ribbons. You can just use a normal box grater, but I kind of want to give this a go, see how it works. I'll take the little manky ends off them. So let's see how this goes. Whoa, just took part of my glove off. That thing's sharp, but it's pretty cool. You just have to be careful not take your finger off. I'm ribbing my finger. Yeah, that is pretty cool. It'll take a long time to do that with a knife. Even if I did lose part of my glove, I'll move over here, make sure it doesn't end up in the coleslaw. Now, I think 4 carrots is going to be too many, so I'm going to do half. Yeah, I think that's more than enough carrot. There's going to be more carrot than cabbage in it if I do much more. Okay, get that into the bowl. So that's all our veggies in. So next up, our lemon. And we want the zest off the whole lemon. First off, we're going with the juice of half of this. We'll keep that to the side because we will taste it afterwards just to see if we need a little bit extra. Okay, then our 2 mustards. First off, going with about a teaspoon of whole grain, a teaspoon of Dijon, then our 100 grams of mayonnaise, and we'll go with a little seasoning of our Texas Ranch. That's going to take forever. Switching to hands. Trying to put a hole in this one. Okay, consistencies wise, it's not too bad. Maybe a little bit more mayo. I'll give it a try first. Lemon's fine. I'm going to go a little bit more seasoning though. Okay, more 40 odd grams. Yeah. That's a bit closer to the consistency I want it. So the other thing I want to go in with then is a little bit of fresh leaf, flat leaf parsley, fresh from the garden. There, sprinkle over. Right, calling that done. This needs to go into the fridge. From past experience, if you can give it a couple of hours, just let that lemon just start to kind of soften down the cabbage, etc. It's a lot better. You can't eat it straight like this here now, it's fine. Giving it a little bit of time to kind of get to know each other definitely helps a little bit. So I'm gonna go stick it into the fridge, clean down. Always managed to make such a mess. And then the next time we come back, we're gonna check on our pork. Okay, we're just coming up on 6.5 hours. Temperature's just hit 81, so obviously we're not ready for pulling yet, but I'm happy with the colour on it and it's starting to get on in the day, so I think I'm going to wrap it. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to. Stick out a couple of layers of foil. Kind of stick our glove on. Get rid of the probe. Get it lifted off. So I'm not going to put anything in it, I'm just going to wrap it up as it goes. It still is a good way to go, so there's still plenty of moisture left in it. But we will wrap it good and tight. Alright, at this point I'm going to take the pit probe out as well, we don't need it. Doesn't matter if the temperatures start to creep up a little bit now because we're wrapped up, we're not going to be losing a lot of moisture, so we can go ahead and put that on. Shut the lid down, let it run for however many hours it takes to be proven tender. But now that it's wrapped, if the temp creeps up to 150, 160, I'm happy to leave it at that. So we will let it go, see how long it takes. Right, I put a probe back into it just so we can keep an eye on it, but we are now, when I cover my watch up, just over 7 hours. So it's been about an hour, 10 minutes or so since we actually wrapped it up. I have to say the temperature's come up pretty fast. Barbecue temp wise, it's sitting about 160, so it's not like it has skyrocketed, but it's just finished off nicely. I have had a little check with the probe and it is probing quite nice, but we'll lift it off and have another look at it. A little bit of moisture's come out of it, but it's not too bad. But it is probing super nice. So we still need to let it rest. It's not completely ready yet. We'll wrap it back up. We're going to put it into cool box, just let it sit for an hour, a couple of hours, just to kind of finish cooking and relax a little bit. So whilst it smells good, it's not ready to eat yet. So we'll wrap it back up Then we'll come back out, shred it up, and we'll give it a taste inside one of those buns with that slaw we made earlier on. Nights are away with it, it's starting to get dark, so we have pulled it, shred it up really nicely, just done it with our hands, don't need to go to it with forks or anything. Bit of on a bun with the North Carolina barbecue sauce from Smokey Carter. Topped it off with our slaw. Time to get in and have a bite. I've already been nibbling at this, kind of hard not to, especially the little barky bits that are in there. Right, here goes nothing. Cheers. Oh, it works well. I don't do pulled pork that often, but when I do, I really do like it. And this fattiness goes really well beside the slaw. The slaw is still nice and crunchy, kind of softened up a little bit since we put it in, but the lemon running through that really cuts through the fatness of this. That's why the two of them make such a perfect combination. And overall, I'm majorly impressed with the Classic III. It's hard to tell really the taste difference between the SloRoller and the just regular Classic II with the two diffuser plates in it. But I think overall, as a cook, it definitely felt a little bit more stable. I had more confidence walking away and just leaving it be. The Classic II, it did work, it did do the job, but feeling like there was slightly more fluctuations in it. Maybe I'm just making that up, I'm not sure. But it felt like quite a relaxed cook. I was happy enough to go on and get on with my day, knowing that it wasn't going to budge at all. Smoke ring's really good on it. You see sort of bits like this. It's really hard to tell on the camera because it's getting so dark. But I would say that's at least sort of half an inch into the actual meat. So it's taking on a lot of smoke. Stop eating, James. So I'll leave a recipe below, not really for this, but more for this here, if you want to give it a try yourself. If you do, tag me in your photos. I'll leave links for all the rubs and sauces and the chunks that we used today as well. Everything will be in the description box below. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video, or it might also be in the dark.